Yo, what's up guys, Neon Blitz here, back with another Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra video. Today we're going to be talking about the big Dragon Ball Games event that's happening this weekend, the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. We don't know what this is. This is a big Dragon Ball event celebrating all the games, from the console games to the mobile games to even the card game that they do every year since pretty much around 2021 that they're doing this weekend. Before we get started, shout out streamer code for the background music. I'll leave this video that we're listening to in the description. This is actually my first time listening to it because it's based around the 11th year anniversary of Dokkan, so make sure to give them some love. Now, again, like I was saying, Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, they've been doing this every year since 2021, and it's a massive celebration of everything with Dragon Ball games, so, from the video games to the mobile games to even the card games. And they seem like they're going pretty big this year. We have the official event overview from the website. Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour, the dream event created for Dragon Ball fans from all over the world, is confirmed to be held in Los Angeles in 2026. This year's event will take place over 2 days, April 18th and 19th. Featuring exhibitions, stage events, interactive booths, and a variety of experiences that showcase many attractions of Dragon Ball. Stay tuned for more events. Now, we go over to the stage. They actually have a kind of format of everything that's going to be going down here. If to start things off at the event, they're going to be showing Dragon Ball Super Broly. That sounds like it's going to be an awesome time watching Broly with, a bunch of Dragon Ball fans. That sounds awesome. It reminds me of when I saw Dragon Ball Super Broly at Disney. That sounds like an awesome time. I can't wait, for people to experience that. Then after that, we have our kind of first piece of Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra news, where they're doing a Dragon Ball Games producer special match. Squad up and beat down your enemy in a intense 4v4 team battle. Claim the Dragon Ball and seize victory. All participants will receive exclusive Gekishin Squadra original giveaway. You can join solo or with fans. Everyone's welcome. Simple guidance available for first-time players. So, this is at the place itself where you'll be able to play, and it sounds like you can enter giveaways to get art cards, acrylic keychains, and acrylic stands. And if you're confused of what this kind of game producer special match is, they did this at the Genki Matsuri, where they essentially had producers from all across the games. We have Geppy, Tani, Yu, all these different producers from the different Dragon Ball games, all essentially compete and fight each other in 2 Squadra matches. I didn't even include in my reaction to everything at the Genki Matsuri, but something that they had there, and it should be kind of fun time to see there. Now, that's on Saturday. Sunday is when everything's going down. We have the Dragon Ball FighterZ Master Showdown, which is a massive, Dragon Ball FighterZ tournament. No, that's not what it, right? Basically, it's the last chance qualifier for players to compete in this Master Showdown, where pretty much the best players in the entirety of Dragon Ball FighterZ's competitive history are competing in this exclusive tournament to see who's, the best of the best, the GOAT of GOATs. They having, the original GOATs, Sonic Fox and Goichi, versus some of the new GOATs with the French players like Wade and Yasha and all of them, right? Next, probably the biggest news for this event, we have the Dragon Ball Super special panel, where they're going to be giving out the latest news on Dragon Ball Super Beerus, the newly enhanced edition of the anime Dragon Ball Super that was first revealed at Genki Matsuri on January 25th. So one interesting that they're calling, this an enhanced version, because based on what the leaks have been saying, that's pretty much what this is, where they're essentially enhancing Dragon Ball Super and getting their production flow ready and stable for when they eventually start shifting over to the Dragon Ball Super Galactic Patrol arc, or the Mora arc, right? So it sounds like we've already seen from the initial trailer at the Genki Matsuri that they're going back to Dragon Ball Super, going through every arc and either retouching up some scenes that maybe don't meet the quality standards, adding in new scenes, redrawing some scenes, and maybe even trimming it down so it works better as a rewatch. So we're going to be getting some more news on it here, because we do know this is coming out this year. So we're going to probably see a new trailer, see some new shots, and maybe even potentially the release date. Then we have kind of for the rest of the events, kind of be an amalgamation of events for everything Dragon Ball games related. We have card games, we have Legends, you have Xenoverse 2, Dokkons, Squadra, Sparking Zero, and Age 1000. With, get all the latest information on each title in one place. And then after that, we're going to get the Dragon Ball FighterZ Master Showdown Finals, where the finale of, the whole battle hour is seeing who's the best of Dragon Ball FighterZ. Now, how does this relate to Squadra? Well, first, we have the time that this started out. This is saying at 13:15 Pacific, so that's like 1:15. So I'll leave a link to this time zone in the description that converts it for you. For me, that's going to be around 4:15 p.m. on Sunday, April 19th. So make sure to leave this link in the description so you can convert it to your time zone. Now, how does this relate to Squadra? Well, they're saying Squadra's we're going to be getting the latest information on Gekishin Squadra. Now, we do know already that, they having this, kind of merch of acrylic stands and keychains and art cards for the season 4 happy anniversary. But we do know that not only do they have official merch here, which is kind of just like the basic art for the game, just slapped on some t-shirts, but the fact that Kid Buu is gonna be playable at the booths there. You know, at Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2026, stop by the Gekishin Squadra booth to try out Majin Buu Pure ahead of its release. Don't miss out. So we know Kid Buu's gonna be playable here at this event. So what could they potentially announce here? Well, at the Genki Matsuri, you know, this was a bit earlier into the season, you know. They're advertising Kid Buu coming out, who's the last character of Season 4. And once Kid Buu's out, there's not too much new info to look forward to. You know, we have Bulma Super Capsule Bonanza, which they already announced. Maybe that's coming next week with Kid Buu. Maybe it's going to be coming a week after Kid Buu's release. We don't exactly know. But the only potential news that we don't know if you have the roadmap is on May 8th with new skins, which are probably going to be Goku Day themed because, you know, the symbols for Go and Ku in Japanese sound like the numbers for 5 and 9. So they just say it's Goku Day. So I'd imagine these are going to be Goku Day skins. But, you know, Genki Matsuri was January 25th, and Bardock was not even out. My initial showcase on Bardock was January 28th. So we do not know, right, that what exactly they could announce. At the Genki Matsuri, they announced, you know, they teased the Season 4 half-year anniversary, March 18th, and we got this exact picture right here. And, you know, I was saying it's either Goku Black or God Goku, and it ended up being God Goku. So with that in mind, if we're going to take the Genki Matsuri as an example, you know, considering this is also much later into the season, I'm just expecting a teaser and / release date for Season 5, which I believe should be May 12th, May 13th. So I imagine that's all we're going to get. I don't think we're going to get a new character announcement. You know, I would love to be wrong. You know, imagine they announced Goku Black here. And yes, I'm back on my Goku Black Copium. I've been on my Goku Black Copium since before the game came out, and we're about to be 5 seasons deep into the game, and where is he? If Goku Black is not announced for Season 5, I'll make a video talking about where is Goku Black. I just don't know where he is. But that's all I'm expecting. I'm just expecting a teaser for when Season 5 can start, because, you know, they don't want to overshadow Kid Buu's release, even though the Genki Matsuri was very close to Bardock's release. You know, they didn't announce anything to overshadow Bardock. It was just like, hey, stay tuned. So that's what I'm imagining they're gonna do here, is they're just gonna give us a hey, stay tuned for Season 5. Maybe they might give us a color hint like they did here. Maybe they'll give us, I don't know, pink, purple for Rose, and then I'll freak out, right? But that's all I'm personally expecting. It's just, you know, a teaser for Season 5 and when Season 5 will officially start. And they'll probably go over, you know, the fact that it's a half-year anniversary of Squadra. You can log into the game, get Super Vegito for free, get all these skins, hit effects, blah, 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 right? As for the other games, right, I'm not too familiar with the card games, so I'm not too sure. Legends has always had a presence at the Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour with Toshi, where, you know, in 2021, I'm getting mixed up. Oh my god, 2021. They revealed Legends Limited Goku Black, and yes, that is indeed Rhymestyle. Rhymestyle and Kagi Films, also the voice actor for Charlotte, used to be a part of, you know, reveals and stuff, and decent amount of, like, the hype cycle marketing for initial Dragon Ball Legends they eventually shifted from that, so this is still during that time when he was a part of it. 2022, they introduced this Beerus that had a new mechanic where he can nullify revives, which they should bring back considering the state of the meta of Legends right now. 2023, they revealed Ultra Goku Black, you know, with holding the scythe during the whole match. Very hype. 2024, they revealed Legends Limited Super 17 with kind of crazy animations. In 2025, they didn't have a battle hour because of the California wildfires, so it's been a year since they've had the battle hour. And the 10th year anniversary for Dokkan was supposed to be revealed at the initial battle hour, but, you know, unfortunately that got canceled. So that's what I'm expecting for Legend. Xenoverse 2, I imagine they're going to be maybe showcasing some new DLC, maybe finishing up the story for that game. Dokkan, they could announce some new, like, Extreme Z Awakening, maybe a brand new update that they're planning to add to the game. They might talk about Dokkan Frontier and how it's a brand new way to play Dokkan. We already talked about what Squadra could announce. They'll talk about the half-year anniversary and maybe give us a teaser for Season 5. Sparking Zero, they might talk about the new missions mode that they added, maybe talk about some new characters and costumes coming. And then the big one is new game project Age 1000. Now, yes, there has been a leak of what Age 1000 truly is. I'm not going to talk about it here. But if it is indeed true, that would line up because Sparking Zero, shout out to Amarok for the crowd reaction. Sparking Zero was first initially revealed at Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. Right, this initial trailer, when everyone was calling Budokai Tenkaichi 4 and everyone was losing their mind, was first reviewed at Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour during 2023. So if Age 1000 is what it is leaked to be, it would still fit in perfectly here. So I imagine that's going to be the second biggest news to come out from this event. The first big news is going to be, of course, stuff about Dragon Ball Super Beerus. Then next is Age 1000, what it truly is. And then the third is Dragon Ball FighterZ, because, they're having this big tournament for it. Well, we already know that, they've already announced Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku's coming into the game back at Evo France in October, which I still can't believe FighterZ is getting brand new DLC in current year. I still can't believe this. As someone that got into Dragon Ball because of FighterZ, I cannot believe that this is happening. And they only gave us the release. This is all we know. We just have this render and the release time of spring 2026. And considering this, at this same trailer, they also announced this initial, Dragon Ball Legends tournament that is going to be happening at Battle Hour. We're probably going to be getting a trailer for Daima Super Saiyan 4 Goku here once the finals is over. And which also would line up because, in 2021, this is where they had their initial Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta showcase, showing us everything that we need to know about the character. And then 2022, they've also had, tournaments for Dragon Ball FighterZ. So Dragon Ball FighterZ has also had a presence for the most part every Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. I do not think we're getting a full showcase here. I think we might get an initial trailer, and then with the announcement of a showcase here, because these are, obviously this is 2021, so they're doing this all remotely. So, and I'm sure Damascus and Tyrants, they'll happily come back to it. I know Apology Man, I believe he's still working out right at 2XKO. I'm sure he will happily come back to showcase Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku. I'm sure Riot will even let him to do it too as well. But that's probably gonna be the third biggest news to come out. And yeah, that's just gonna be everything for Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour. It's happening, this weekend, April 18th or 19th. I do not know if you could still get tickets for it because this is happening in Los Angeles. So if you guys are there and live there, see if you could come out, because it seems like it's gonna be an awesome event for Dragon Ball fans. I wish I could go. I would love to see what new information we're gonna get from out of the future Dragon Ball Super Beerus. I want to see, imagine that crowd when Super Saiyan 4 Daima Goku is officially revealed. It's going to be awesome. And, what Age 1000 truly is. It's a very exciting time for the Dragon Ball games, and they do this yearly. So, I personally don't think Squadra is going to announce anything here, but I would love to be wrong. Once again, shout out Shane McCall for the background music. This is a really good video. This is my first time listening to it. Shane McCall knocked that out of the park with this one. But with that, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys liked the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and email out to me. Stay tapped in the channel if you'll say whether your Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra claim featuring this coverage, more videos on God Goku, God Vegeta, and Kid Buu when it eventually comes out, as well as any other potential news you need to know for the game. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!